Hi everyone. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into my very first answer for this discussion prompt about Macbeth. And so the first question asks what I find most interesting about Macbeth. And that's actually what I find interesting about many Shakespearean works, and that's the overall demise of the title character. And so using Macbeth as an example, and in the very beginning, Macbeth is this war hero who's respected by the king and by his land, and by the end, after a series of events, he becomes this tyrant and ends up being killed. So I think that there's a lot of detail in between, but that's overall what I always find interesting about Shakespearean works in general. So to ask about the values within the world of Macbeth, and so a lot of the values I believe within Macbeth revolve around violence as a means of maybe furthering somebody else's social status. So using Macbeth as an example, Macbeth murdered King Duncan in order to ascend to the throne. So that's an example of one societal advancement. Then another way that violence is used is a means of seeking revenge. So consider Macduff, as someone who wanted to get revenge on Macbeth, for the death of his children and his wife. So those are just two examples of how I think violence, really existed as the set of values within the world of Macbeth. And so three asks about something that I circled while I was reading. And there's a lot of things I never understand about Shakespeare, so I usually end up just circling words that I'm like, what could that possibly mean? So one of these words was hurly-burly. I still can't pronounce it. Hurly-burly. And this was used by the second witch very early on, and she goes, when the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won. She's referring to when the witches will meet again. And so I looked up what this word hurly-burly means, and it means noisy disorder and confusion or commotion. So if hurly-burly is done, then that means that they wanted to meet right after, maybe a sense of commotion. And so war is an example of that. So maybe why they met as soon as, Macbeth had these war victories, that's why they met, and that ended up, contributing to the movement of the plot. And so the fourth question asks about comparing and contrasting how gender is depicted within the play. So what's interesting about gender in this play is that Lady Macbeth, who's the main female character in the work, she's not very similar to a lot of stereotypical women that you might read in this time period. She's not a damsel in distress. She's not ultra feminine. She actually, contributes to a lot of the actions committed by her, husband, and she supports those actions as well. So I think that was, what made gender a very interesting thing within this, work. And then 5 asks, how do I think cross-gender casting affected Shakespearean audiences? Because obviously women, did not perform in this time period. And so I think this might have been an example of a play that was a little bit less convincing because of how unwomanlike Lady Macbeth was. And so to tie things up, since I'm running out of time here, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with 2 questions. So my first one is, do you believe Macbeth is truly evil? If so, why? And if not, why not? And my second question is, had Macbeth not had Banquo murdered, do you think the story would have ended differently? But other than that, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.